Welcome to another episode of Educating Homebuyers, the podcast. I'm your host, Brady Hay, and my mortgage team has over 9 years of mortgage experience here in Des Moines, Iowa. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading, investing, or simply just curious about the market, this show is all about helping you and future homebuyers feel informed, educated, and comfortable as you take your next step. Each week, I sit down with real estate professionals, past clients, and local experts to unpack real stories, real advice, and what you actually need to know when buying a home today. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Today's guest is someone who wears a lot of hats and somehow exceeds in all of them. He's a top producing real estate agent in the Quad Cities, consistently ranking in the top 5% of agents in the area, and he has been for over 5 years. Before real estate, he served our country as a veteran and built a career as a musician, an entertainer, and even a former professional comedian. That background shows up in how he connects with people, builds trust, and makes process more enjoyable for his clients. When he's not working, you'll find him traveling, playing euchre, and spending time with his daughter. Bobby Ray Bunch, welcome to Educating Homebuyers.
Thank you.
How are you, my friend?
I'm great, yeah.
Thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having me.
For everybody that doesn't know, Bobby's in the Quad Cities area.
Yes.
And so 2.5 hour drive over just only to record a podcast with me. So
strictly for that.
Just that.
Yes.
It's the only reason.
Yep.
So honored to have you today. Would love to, just have you share your story. Give everybody a background. There's probably most people listening have no clue who you are. So would love to, give an insight into who is Bobby Ray.
Yeah, grew up in the Quad Cities, went in the military after high school, and then got out, went to college, graduated from Iowa, tried the whole corporate world thing. Yeah. Quickly realized I'm not cut out for that at all.
And me both.
So I was doing full-time musical performances. That makes me sound like I do musicals. I play live music.
You're live on Broadway?
And then I really got into stand-up comedy when I was at Iowa, and then started working for a couple different booking agencies and started traveling the country. And then in the meantime, I started an event company, and I created this event that we did in like 4 different states called Food Truck Fight, where I got food trucks to compete. And
So verbally fighting or?
No, they'd compete. Like people would show up and we'd have like 15 food trucks, and then everyone got to vote, and then we'd present them with a ridiculous.
So no physical fighting?
No. Well, one time there was, somebody lost and they weren't happy about it, but
that's really cool though.
Yeah. So created a couple other events on top of that, and then everything was growing, getting bigger and bigger. And then the pandemic happened. Mm-hmm. And so my entire livelihood shut down in March of 2020. And so I'd always been interested in real estate. Yeah. And I got my license pretty quickly in 2020, and thankfully just knew a lot of people, and so it just took off.
Yeah, it kind of goes that way, right? Like you are already a well-connected individual with music and in comedy, and then that translates really well to real estate because as much as we're selling houses, you're really selling yourself to represent the people that you already know.
Yeah, it's a people business, and everything I've done in my life, I've always focused on the people. When I would create an event, in my mind, I'd be like, well, how would I want this event to go, and how would I want it to be when I walk through the gate? And that helped it be really successful.
Yeah, that's really cool. So how do you think from the music and comedy side, and really even events, really, how is that translated, or what's like the one thing that you would take away from that and implement it into your real estate business?
Well, it's project management. You know, when you're working 10 to 20 transactions at the same time, you're managing multiple people's personalities, emotions, and problems, and you have to be really solution oriented.
Has being a comedian helped with that?
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
are you able to like make light of challenging situations, or is that also a hard battle too, and like when to be professional?
So what I would say I took away from being a stand-up comedian that I use in real estate is, number one, you can be the funniest comedian on the planet and perform in front of 1,000 people, and there's still going to be 100 people in the audience that don't like you or find you funny. And so in real estate, I'm not for everybody. Yeah. And I'm not going to get everybody's business, and that's okay. I'm just, as long as I'm being authentic and being myself, then those people will come and work with me. And then the other thing is, being a cop in the military and then being a stand-up comedian, I'm very good at being able to gauge people's body language and kind of almost predict how they're going to react to something. Sure. And so in real estate, I can tell you in the first 4 seconds
whether you're going to be the right fit,
or if they're going to want to buy the house or not.
Sure.
And because this isn't sales. This is not sales at all. The house sells itself. Right. This is 100% a people business, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah. talk through that, like with your process that you've built around, when you get a conversation or an opportunity to represent somebody, what does that look like for you? What do you take somebody through? Like give somebody an inside look into what it looks like to buy a house or sell a house with you.
I just show them the roadmap, right? We're all headed to the same destination, and you don't want to drive blind, and you also don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, just follow me, and then I'm 55 miles ahead of them. So I just show them the route that we're going to go, and then I try not to get too in the weeds in the beginning of like what can and can't happen and things like that.
Right.
And it's just a lot of it's a feeling.
Yeah. Because the last thing you want to do is scare somebody away.
Exactly.
Right? Like, and I tell my clients that. It's ironic you bring that up, because I was on the phone to the client on my way to record this, and it was an introductory call. Had never talked to him before. And the first thing I told him, I said, the last thing I want to do is overwhelm you on this phone call. Like, I don't want you to feel like I'm going to just spit everything at you and throw the entire real estate portfolio at you right now on this phone call. Just give me an idea of what you guys want right now, and then I'll walk you through what happens after that.
Exactly. And I try to cast a wide net with each buyer, because I've learned over the years that they're going to tell you they want X, Y, and Z in a house, and then all of a sudden we're under contract on something that they said they would never go for.
Right.
And so that's not up to me. So I'm not gonna funnel them into something super tight. Like, let's cast a wide net, and then as we're going through the process, I get a better feeling for who they are, what they're looking for, what their goals are, and then we figure it out.
And kind of fine tune that funnel a little bit.
Everybody's different.
Right.
Everybody's different.
So then, like, what with your client base, you've been doing this almost, actually it'd be over 5 years, right? Right at over 5 years. What does that look like for you from a growth standpoint? Are you almost exclusively sphere of influence, people that referrals from that side of things?
I mean, honestly, I think in 2023 I worked leads, and I just found that that's not how I want to build my business, because it's so transactional.
Right.
And then you have to literally live your entire life based off of when your phone rings and when they need to go see something. And in this way, I would say in 2025, 90% of my business was sphere of influence or referrals.
Fantastic.
So, and that's, to me, the dream.
Yeah. When it helps kind of keep you aligned with the people you're representing too, right?
Of course.
And I think that's, I find often, and I'm even turned into a mentor role the longer I've been doing this, but I talk to other people in my industry that, they try to like fit a square peg into a circle hole, and try to get the opportunity to represent a client that's not trusting them or not wanting to do things the way that they're advising. And it just ends up being the point where you're butting heads the entire transaction, and you end up bogging yourself down. Trying to satisfy that client, whereas you could have been using that same time to double or triple your efforts with people who want to respect you and work the way you want to.
And I think the big mistake a lot of agents make is they're so worried about down the road, like they're so worried about it. To me, it's not always about this transaction. It is about what the result of this transaction is going to be and how it's going to help you grow your business.
No doubt.
And so sometimes you got to write a check, or sometimes, if I make a mistake, I'm not going to dance around it. I'm going to call my client and say, I messed up. And also, here's 3 ways that I'm going to fix it. You let me know which route you want to go. Simple as that.
How much more can you ask? And then that way it positions you as the professional still, and there's no animosity or any bad blood.
Things happen.
Right. Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, none of us are batting 100. No. None of us are perfect.
There's so many things that are out of our control at times in a transaction, because again, when you go under contract as a buyer or a seller, there's probably 15 different people involved in that transaction that you're never going to see, never going to meet, but that we're dealing with.
Right.
And sometimes people have a bad day, they say the wrong thing, and I refuse to ever let emotions get involved in this business, because it's not about me.
And it's a very emotional business too.
Very emotional.
Like, it can be that way, especially when people are packing up and moving their whole lives. Right. Like, and the seller's doing the same thing, and it can be on both ends of the spectrum of emotion too. It can be a very joyous move, and it can be very sad move.
I don't think you always get to choose your niche. And a lot of things that were happening right when I got my license were when somebody passed away or got divorced, my phone would ring. And so I was dealing with very volatile situations, heavy emotional situations. And I'm just very black and white. And having been in the military, having been a cop, having deployed a bunch of times, helped me just stay focused, almost be emotionless with it. Because my whole thing with those families that have lost a loved one and now they need to sell the house, that's the last piece before they can close the estate. look, you have enough emotions already.
Yeah.
Let me handle this.
Right.
I've got it. You guys just focus on
And
the
it's
rest
not
of
that
the
you don't
things.
care. You just,
I have a heart.
Right.
You know, no
A pretty
matter
big
what,
one, by the way.
no matter what my dad says, I have a heart.
don't listen to what he says, right?
He doesn't know anything.
That's funny. But yeah, no, that's 100% true, you know, and you need that even keeled, you know, you don't want to say that you're controlling the process because you're not. It is still their process.
You're navigating the process.
You're helping them navigate and taking stuff off of their plate that very much would not be there if you were not representing them.
Right.
That's the big key.
If I've never driven a Jeep that through the mountains where it only requires four-wheel drive, I hope that the driver knows what he's
done
doing.
That before.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's the challenge that we always encourage our clients, like be represented and allow the professional that's representing you to do what they've been trained to do.
Exactly.
You know, because they've done it time and time again. So, it's very apparent the VA and the veteran aspect of your background and your life is a big aspect of how you've built your business too. Anything that you could advise or any stories you have recently that would be beneficial to maybe our veteran listeners?
So I do work with a lot of veterans. I'm on a board for a veteran organization. Shout out to Anonymously Grateful. And the thing is, veterans either A, don't know what their benefits are that they've earned, or B, they're too stubborn to ask.
Sure.
And so I go out of my way to just broadcast what it is that they can do. I mean, I had a guy, I walked into a bar down the street from my house, was going to have a drink before I went home, and he goes, "Hey man, I saw you posted this house in Moline, Illinois. Wish I could buy it."
Yeah.
And I go, "Why can't you?" And he's like, "Well, I don't have 20%. And I go, "You're a veteran." He goes, "So what?" I go, "You don't need to put any money down." And his eyes lit up. I put him in touch with a lender the next day. He was pre-approved later that day. We walked through the house the next day, and then we were under contract. And every time I see him, not only is he grateful for that, but then I got him connected with a veteran service officer to help him understand that he is eligible for disability benefits.
Yeah.
Completely changed the guy's life.
Making him a couple $1,000 a month,
Yes,
probably.
that he earned.
Yeah.
That he earned.
Yeah.
And so every time I see him now, he's one of my biggest champions.
Yeah.
And then his mom bought a house for me. And then, you know what I mean? Like,
And that right there is what we strive for.
That's how I want to build my business. I want to create the biggest champions of Bobby Ray Bunch possible, right? I want everyone screaming BRB, maybe not that, but I want people to just I don't want to only be the forefront of their mind when they think of a realtor, but I want them to remember how I made them feel.
I have a specific part at the end of my buyer consultation that I tell my clients, like I have it's a slide that it's the 10 commandments to a successful loan closing. And number 10 on that is that don't forget to tell your friends and family about me. But the thing that I always say every time I read that to my client when I get done meeting with them is like, yes, this is my priority, but I cannot earn that without executing for you first.
And I will say when I talk about not getting emotions involved in this business, there have been times that I've gotten a review from somebody and it made me cry.
Yeah.
Because it meant so much to me. And there's an organization in Davenport called 180, and it's a rehab program, 17 months long. And I had the opportunity to help 3 graduates buy a house. And we're sitting at closing and they're telling me a story about how 4 or 5 years ago they were facing 40 years in prison.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the judge allowed them to go through this program, and now they're buying a house, and I'm just sobbing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I got in the business.
People deserve a second chance.
I don't care about my GCI. I don't care about how many houses I've sold. I care about who have I helped and how have I impacted them.
And the impact you've made. And I think that the other key that's really important, I think it can be skewed often, is that not everybody's situation is perfect, right? We're here to help navigate some of those tougher deals are our most rewarding. You know? And the big thing that I think that we would both like to drive home to anybody watching this is like, if you're ever wondering if it's possible, you don't know without checking in on first, right? Your veteran that you talked about as a prime example is he just assumed because of his current asset situation, he couldn't own a house. Yeah. And I don't know how long ago that was, but I'd be curious to know.
About a year ago.
I wonder how his equity position looks now compared to when, you know, like you make progress on that, right?
So
it's a wealth builder.
I do talk to him, and so because of his disability rating in Illinois, his property taxes have fallen off.
Yeah.
So now his payment's even lower. And then even when he bought the house, his payment was lower than the apartment he was renting.
Right.
So now it's even lower than that. Guess what he's doing now? He's saving money. He's planning for retirement.
Yep.
And he couldn't be happier.
All because he had somebody in his corner who would actually ask the questions needed.
All
right?
because I came in to buy a Busch Light.
Which, by the way, sounds pretty good.
Delicious.
Could use,
yes.
might I say. But yeah, I mean, listen, that's just right there is the prime example of why it's important to network. It's important to be educated on your field of practice, right? And you know, that's even maybe motivation for me to go to the bar more often because,
well, you know, and I hate to say it, but a lot of my business comes from just being social, and I'm a very social person. You're not going to see me on a billboard. Right. You're not going to see me on the side of a bus.
You are going to see on this podcast.
I'm going to be on this podcast, and we're going to go viral.
Right.
But that's where I get a lot of my business is just show, you know, and even playing live music. Mm-hmm. I'm still out there, and although I'm playing music, people know, oh, that's that realtor.
You got your logo on your guitar,
right? Yeah, that's that realtor that plays Wonderwall. Right?
You should totally put your like real estate logo on your guitar. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm totally singing Blink 182 right now, but I promise, like, if you want to buy a house, call me.
Exactly.
But no, it's such a cool way to do it, and you know, I tell people this all the time, and I've probably talked about this on other episodes, but like, social media has obviously played a big role in, I think, the ability to get everybody's name out there about what you do, especially in our industry. And the biggest thing that I stress, and frankly why I started this podcast, is because it's important to post more than just business content.
Yep.
Like, I think you posting a video of you singing a song would be just as much business related and marketing for your real estate business as it would be just you just having a hobby of wanting to play music, you know?
So I completely revamped my Instagram. Mm-hmm. I deleted my Realtor Facebook page and I deleted my Realtor Instagram page. Yep. Now everything falls under my normal Facebook page and my normal Instagram page. I also changed the name of my Instagram page.
I saw that. Was that just yesterday?
A couple of weeks ago.
I was going to say, I just noticed it yesterday and you posted a picture of your ranch bottle too.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
I renamed it to Bubba Ray Ranch because in 2017, I was on the road doing comedy and I pull up to the comedy club and the marquee said Bubba Ray Ranch. And so I go in and I ask the club owner, I go, who's Bubba Ray Ranch? He goes, that's you. I go, no, that's not my name. He's like, yeah, it is. I go, you're right. You know my name better than I would. And so, you know, I posted that on Facebook the other day about, hey, here's why I changed my name on Instagram. The club owner commented on it. He's like, I make one mistake 7 years ago and I still can't hear the end of it.
It's destiny now.
But it's so funny because it made me laugh that when I typed in Bubba Ray Ranch on Instagram to change my name, they're like, yep, that's available.
Of course it is.
So I'm going to trademark it.
Right.
Before you do.
Yeah. And now it's your brand.
It's my brand. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's, I mean, again, it's a lighter side, right? And I think that the moment that you become this stuffy, like professional only suit and tie realtor, then you're not attracting who you are and the clients that you want to work with, right? Yep. You are a casual comedian and musician who happens to be really good at selling houses.
But Brady, I'm still learning that because I had a listing appointment. You know, a guy posts on one of those random Facebook pages anonymously looking for a realtor. I got tagged enough times that he messaged me. I connect with him on the phone. He's a veteran. You know, we had all this in common. I show up to the listing appointment and the other agent that he's interviewing is still there because I'm on time.
Of course.
I show up, she's still there.
Back-to-back appointments is kind of crazy, by the way.
No problem, whatever.
Yeah.
The listing appointment I thought went okay, but not great because I was so serious. I was like, this is a serious guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be serious. And I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And I was so bummed out. And then I was talking to a colleague of mine and she's like, yeah, because you got too serious. She's like, just be yourself.
Right.
So I'm still learning that stuff.
And that's not going to be perfect for anybody either. You know, there are going to be certain clients that probably wish you would have been more serious.
Correct.
But it's not authentic to who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking to myself too, is like, you have to just stay in your lane. And I know the other thing that I think is a really important take, if there's any realtors listening to this or mortgage lenders for that matter, is that we have a process built for a reason, right? And too often, I think people in our industry kind of let the clients dictate the process more than us being the experts and saying, no, this is how it's going to go. You wouldn't believe early in my career, the amount of times I'd have people apply for a pre-approval and say they want a letter right now. And I wanted to earn the business so bad that I'd just send the letter. And then I quickly found out that if I would have asked the right questions and gone through my process and gotten the documents and done a buyer consult, that I would have discovered something that would have prevented the deal from blowing up in the first place. I don't let that happen anymore. Like you have to stick to the process you've built. And if you don't have a process, build one, right? Or have a mentor that can share you with how to be successful in that. Because having a written process is one of the best things that I ever implemented. And I wrote it out from the moment that I first connect with somebody all the way through post-closing. And that has allowed me to streamline things, right? Like it allows me to not spin my wheels anymore on things that I probably shouldn't be, right? And also it creates a better experience.
Yes.
You know, and allows you to be more consistent and diligent with your time and effort and allows you to scale at a higher level. So that's the thing that I think you can take away from that is like, you have to be true to the way that you've learned and practiced over the last 5 years. And it's an ever evolving craft, right? Like, especially if we want to continue to do this for a long time, like it's never going to be perfect. So yeah, always a work in progress.
Absolutely.
Now seems like as good a time as ever. I have to have you tell the story about the guy's life that you saved the first time I ever met you. Since we're about to wrap up, let's give everybody an inside look into that night.
Yeah. So we're having dinner. There's probably 12 or 14 of us.
Yeah.
And we're in this private room at this restaurant, and we had kind of made it through dinner and ordered dessert. And these gentlemen whom were dining downstairs came up, and they were just like, oh, we just wanted to check out what's going on up here. And so
kind of set the stage too. It's pretty dark. Can't really see.
Kind of like we're in this room, but then the hallway was kind of dark. And so our server came to bring the dessert tray around, and this gentleman took a step back to get out of her way. But when he took a step back, he fell backwards down 26 stairs into a very dark staircase. And I heard it, but I didn't see it. I mean, it sounded like...
I was sitting right next to you.
It sounded like somebody pushed a filing cabinet.
Yeah, that was the way I described it, is like if you push a bookshelf or a tote of something really heavy down a flight of stairs, that's what I thought it was.
And he's late 60s. Found out later he's like 6'4", 300 and some pounds, big gentleman, obviously not me.
Yeah.
So I just jumped out of my chair, and I'm at the top of the steps, and he's just crumpled in the landing. And so I run down. I think I screamed, somebody call 911.
Yep.
And so I have combat life-saving training from when I was in the military, and just instinct kicked in, and it was just like time slowed down, right? So that's the adrenaline pumping. And I stabilized his head kind of in my lap, and then I noticed the back of his head is split open, front of his head is kind of split open. And so I think Shannon brought down some napkins or something, and so I'm just stabilizing him, but I realized the door went out into the alley, and that's going to be the fastest way for EMS to come in. And so I had to like hook him while stabilizing him. And I remember I moved him, and I opened the door. Oh, mind you, I've left this part out. When I got to the bottom of the steps, he was not breathing.
I was going to say, you left a pretty important detail out that this guy's like not currently conscious.
He was not conscious. He was not breathing. And so I didn't start doing chest compressions. I just kind of did the rattle, and he took this deep gargly breath, and his eyes opened, and I was like, do you know your name? And he's like, yes, it's Jeff. And so then I'm like, stay with me. And so I'm able to maneuver him, and I open the door with one hand, and then I kind of lay him back down. And I remember I go, that fresh air is good, right? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, what happened? I'm like, paramedics are on their way. And they responded so quickly.
Yeah, shout out to them for sure, because they were Johnny on the spot, and you were too.
I kind of gave them the rundown, and then a couple weeks go by, and my phone rings, and they're like, is this Bobby Bunch? And I said, yeah. And they go, were you at such and such restaurant on September 9th? I said, yes. And they go, well, you saved that guy's life. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they go, the sheriff, Scott County Sheriff, would like to present you with an award. And I'm like, that's not necessary. And he goes, no. This guy is coming back from Florida to be there at the ceremony. And I was like, okay. And so I show up to the sheriff's office, and I pull up in the parking lot, and he's standing there, and he's got a neck brace on. And I walk up to him, and I just go, I'm so glad I get to meet you. Yeah. And he puts both hands on my shoulders, and he goes, my wife thanks you, my kids thank you, my grandkids thank you. And so the other thing that was crazy was when they brought him to the hospital in Davenport, they obviously did scans, and they found a lesion on his liver and his brain that they wouldn't have known about until it was too late. And so he told me that the doctors in Iowa and his doctors in Florida. So mind you, this guy is the top cop for the Florida Highway Patrol. And he was in town for a conference. And that's why he was at that restaurant that night. So he said the doctors in Iowa and the doctors in Florida all said that if you wouldn't have gotten to me as quickly as you did, I'd be dead. Mm-hmm. I was like, whoa.
Not to mention discovering this other lesion.
Yeah.
That probably would have gotten him, even if he didn't fall down the stairs.
It would have been over. It would have been over. And so we exchanged numbers. We've kind of, we texted back and forth Merry Christmas and things like that. But to me, it was just what I was supposed to do. And
you were meant to be there.
I tell you the funny thing though, I did not, I think I had like 2 drinks the whole night.
Oh, not me.
And the next day I was so hungover because I had that adrenaline spike and then that crash. And I was like, man, what happened?
Safe to say we all sobered up pretty quick
very quickly
when the time happened. But not that that's a real estate related story, but I do think it's a testimony to the kind of person you are. So I think it's important to share because it's I
was in a multiple offer situation a couple weeks after that. And the agent said, I told my seller they should probably go with your offer because you're such a great guy and you just saved somebody's life.
Hey. So did you tell that guy that you earned him a deal?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I did.
So, I mean, it's come full circle for you, which is great. But listen, if there's something that's like you want to be known by, it's that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Not that you don't mean that in a boastful way in any way, shape, or form.
That's how I introduce myself.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I saved a guy. But no, I just think that it was, again, it was kind of circling back. It was the first time I'd ever met you, and it was just a true testament to your character, and I was able to know that from day zero, the kind of person you are, and it's a direct correlation to the direct kind of agent you are, and it just is it's kind of set up a friendship for years to come amidst that, and I hope that if anybody's seeing this and hears his story and is looking to buy a house or looking for guidance, obviously reach out to this guy because he's gonna take good care of you. So. Yeah, just appreciative of you and
thanks, Brady.
Your opportunity to come over here and support me because that's kind of the premise on why you guys came over is to come to my event tomorrow, which I'm grateful for, and
we're excited.
Yeah, it's fun to just kind of grow this continued network and hopefully continue to provide value for our listeners. So
honestly, I mostly came to hang out with Rich Bales.
Well, Rich is pretty cool too.
It's pretty cool.
Oh man, that's awesome. But yeah, Rich is great. And excited for the event tomorrow. Obviously, this will be posted post event. But yeah, hopefully it's a success, and the people that are there get to take something from it and learn from it too. So,
but what you're doing is really, really cool. And there's not a lot of people, especially in the state of Iowa, that are doing a podcast like this. And I listen to a lot of them, and you do such a great job with it.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, the vision behind it is to give everybody a platform, right, and just make an impact, and the point that you made is that nobody else is doing it was kind of the reason why I needed to do it.
Yeah.
I needed to identify something that can be my competitive advantage. Not because it's a competition, but like I want to be known as somebody who's making an impact, and this is my way to kind of give back. So combination of giving back to the agents I get to feature and also hopefully giving back and providing some value for your listeners and people that follow you along too. So that's kind of the vision behind it. But before we kind of wrap up, is there anything else like market related or anything like your clients that you'd love to like leave them with and heading into, the rest of 2026? What's your 2 cents on kind of real estate and what that would look like for them?
I know it's always easy to think that you don't need a realtor when you're buying or selling a house. And you might be right. Anybody can give it a shot if they want. But if you want it to go smoothly, you need to team yourself up with a great lender and a great realtor.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, I promise you it's going to be a smooth process.
I love it. Well, listen, if you guys are listening to this or watching this and you are looking into real estate, reach out to Bobby Ray. He's going to be your guy. But thanks again for coming on. And this has been another episode of Educating Homebuyers. We'll see you guys next time.